Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today into the world of flower and garden specialized sellers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're going to help you get ready for your next big interview.
Awesome.
So if you love plants,
Yeah.
maybe you're a total green thumb or,
Yeah.
just starting to kind of explore that world,
Right.
this deep dive is all about giving you the tools to land your dream job.
That's right. We'll unpack what it really means to be a flower and garden specialized seller. So we're going to cover everything from, the day-to-day work environment all the way to how to answer those sometimes tricky interview questions.
Yeah, those can be tough. And to help us with this deep dive, we're using a fantastic platform called RoleCatcher. Think of it as your AI-powered career coach. They've got amazing resources, a really cool career guide, skill guide, and a bunch of sample interview questions, really tailored for flower and garden specialized sellers.
Really smart. I mean, RoleCatcher's AI can be a total game changer when it comes to, making sure your answers hit the mark for the employer. So we'll definitely get more into that a little bit later.
Okay, awesome. So I think we should just jump right in, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get to the heart of it, those interview questions. So RoleCatcher gave us 10 common questions that you might get asked, and we're going to go through them one by one, kind of uncover what the interviewer is really looking for and how you can respond in a way that makes you stand out as a candidate.
Yeah, it's not just about, giving the right answer. It's about showcasing your passion
Hmm.
and really demonstrating why you're the perfect fit for this unique role.
Absolutely. Okay, so the first question on RoleCatcher's list is, what inspired you to pursue a career in flower and garden sales? Now, this one seems pretty straightforward on the surface, but what's the real key to knocking this one out of the park?
Well, it's all about showcasing that genuine enthusiasm, right? So think back to what first sparked your love for plants. Was it maybe helping a family member in their garden, or was it the first time that you successfully grew a tomato plant from a seed? You know, share a specific story, specific anecdote that really reveals your passion, that deep-rooted passion for plants.
So it's more than just saying, I love plants.
Right. Way more, way more. The interviewer wants to understand the why behind your love.
Hmm.
Was there a specific plant, a specific gardening experience that had a real impact on you? Did you discover you had a knack for floral arrangements? Weave
Mhm.
a story that showcases your unique journey into the world of horticulture. That's really compelling.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so the next question on RoleCatcher's list is, how do you stay up to date with the latest trends in the flower and garden industry? Now, this one feels like it's asking about more than just knowing the latest trendy houseplant. What are they trying to get at with this question?
Yeah, they're looking for proof. Proof that you're committed to constantly learning, right? That you're engaged in the field. So instead of just saying, oh, I read stuff online, mention specific industry publications like Fine Gardening Magazine or the American Horticultural Society website. Have you been to any workshops, webinars, about organic gardening techniques or maybe new plant varieties? Drop
Yeah.
that in.
So you're saying it's showing them you're going beyond just, casually scrolling through plant photos on Instagram.
Exactly. It's about showcasing that genuine commitment to expanding your knowledge, to staying one step ahead,
Yeah.
Maybe you recently learned about a new biodynamic farming technique or, found this amazing native plant that's just perfect for attracting pollinators. Share those insights.
Mhm.
Highlight your, active role, active participation in the world of horticulture.
I love it. Okay, let's talk about customer service. So RoleCatcher's next question is, how do you approach customer service in flower and garden sales? I feel like there's a little something extra here, right? It's not just about ringing up a sale. It's about helping people create, something beautiful, something that brings them joy.
You nailed it. I mean, this role is all about those connections, helping
Yeah.
customers succeed, in their own gardening endeavors.
So how do you get that across in your answer? What would make someone's response really stand out?
Think of a time when you went above and beyond for a customer. Maybe someone who was having trouble picking the right, I don't know, rose bush for their garden or, needed advice on how to get rid of some pesky pests. Share that story, but really emphasize, your ability to listen, to provide those tailored recommendations, those recommendations that are specific to their needs, and to share your knowledge, share your passion.
I can just imagine the interviewer nodding along, so impressed by your, care for the customer. Now, let's get real for a second. Not every customer interaction is, sunshine and roses. So RoleCatcher brings up the tough ones. They ask, How do you handle difficult customers in flower and garden sales?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've all been there, right? You encounter those shoppers who just seem determined to find fault.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to happen in any retail setting,
Right.
but this question is your chance to shine, you
So,
know?
uh,
Demonstrate your composure and your amazing problem-solving skills.
okay, so what are some key points to hit when you're tackling this tricky question?
Stay calm, stay empathetic, and always be solution-oriented. Share an example of a challenging customer interaction that you successfully navigated. Maybe a customer was upset about a wilted plant, or they felt, I don't know, ignored, like they weren't getting enough attention. Walk the interviewer through the steps you took, how you de-escalated the situation, addressed their concerns, and most importantly, how you found a resolution that left everyone feeling good, feeling heard.
You're showing them you can handle those thorny situations with, grace and professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's dig into a question that really tests your plant knowledge. RoleCatcher asks, can you describe your experience with plant propagation?
Mm.
Is that a standard question for aspiring flower and garden specialized sellers?
Well, it might not be on every interviewer's list,
Do I?
but it's a fantastic opportunity to really showcase your knowledge and passion for the science behind plants. Have you ever started plants from seed? Taken cuttings? Have you experimented with grafting or dividing perennials? Share those experiences.
Yeah.
Highlight any specific techniques that you've mastered.
Okay, but what if someone's, relatively new to propagation? Should they just say they don't know much?
Oh, it's totally fine to be honest about your skill level.
Okay.
And then express how eager you are to learn more. You could say something like, while I'm still, exploring the ins and outs of plant propagation, I've been experimenting with starting herbs from cuttings, and I've been researching different grafting techniques. I'm really excited to keep, expanding my knowledge in this area.
Yeah, I think that shows a lot of initiative, and a thirst for knowledge.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to a question that I think really emphasizes your attention to detail.
Hmm.
How do you ensure the quality of the plants you sell? Nobody wants to buy a droopy daisy.
No, they don't. And this question is really about your dedication to giving customers healthy plants, creating that, positive shopping experience.
So what are some of the key points that you would hit on when crafting your response?
Think about the specific steps, the process.
Mhm.
Would you carefully inspect the plants when they're delivered? Checking for any signs of pests or diseases, and making sure they're getting enough water and light.
Yeah.
You can also talk about your understanding of soil health, and the importance of sourcing your plants from reputable growers.
So it's about, showcasing your commitment to excellence
Right, absolutely.
and your understanding of all the factors that make plants healthy and happy.
It all ties together.
Yeah. Okay, now let's get to customer education. RoleCatcher asks, how do you handle plant care questions from customers? It almost feels like, in this role, you're not just selling plants, you're also becoming a trusted advisor.
Exactly. Customers rely on your expertise to help, their green friends thrive. This question is really assessing your communication skills and your ability to give accurate, really helpful information.
Okay, so what's the best way to answer this one? Should you just, rattle off a list of plant care tips?
Well, focus on your ability to customize your advice, right? To tailor it to their individual needs. So share an example of a time when you helped a customer troubleshoot a plant problem or gave them care instructions that were specific to the plants that they chose and their growing environment. Did you offer, tips on watering,
Right.
fertilizing schedules, or even pest control? Those details are going to paint a really clear picture of your expertise.
It's like you're not just reciting generic advice, you're creating, a personalized care plan
Right.
for each customer's, situation.
Exactly.
Now, let's tackle a question that might seem a little unexpected. Can you describe your experience with landscape design? Is this a typical question for flower and garden specialized sellers?
Not every role is going to require in-depth landscape design knowledge, but it's becoming more and more valuable, especially as customers they're wanting advice on how to create these really cohesive and aesthetically pleasing outdoor spaces.
Okay, so how should you respond if you haven't designed, full landscapes before?
Focus on your understanding of design principles. Even if you haven't created formal landscape plans, you probably have a good eye
Yeah.
for plant combinations, for color schemes, creating a sense of balance. You could say something like, While my main experience has been in plant care and selection, I have a really strong grasp of design principles, and I'm always happy to help customers choose plants that complement each other and their, overall garden vision.
That makes sense. Now let's shift gears to a question that's all about your, drive and ambition. RoleCatcher asks, how do you ensure that your sales goals are met? It sounds like they're looking for someone who is not just passionate about plants, but also about contributing to the success of the business.
Absolutely. It's your chance to showcase your strategic thinking
Yeah.
and that dedication to driving sales.
Okay, so what are some effective strategies that you can mention?
Well, think about what makes you a good salesperson. Do you excel at building rapport with customers?
Hmm.
Are you great at figuring out their needs and recommending the perfect products? You could also talk about your approach to creating really enticing displays, highlighting promotions, or even offering those upselling suggestions.
So it's about being proactive
Yes.
and contributing to the shop's success.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap up this section with a question that I think really emphasizes responsibility and awareness of potential, hazards. They ask, how do you prioritize safety in your work with plants and gardening equipment? It seems like they want to make sure you're not going to accidentally prune a finger or send a customer home with a poisonous plant.
Safety is so important in any workplace, but especially one that involves sharp tools, potentially hazardous chemicals, and plants with varying levels of toxicity.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some key points to cover when you're answering this one?
Think about those protocols. Would you wear gloves when you're handling thorny plants?
Yeah.
Use proper lifting techniques when you're moving those heavy pots, making sure that you're storing chemicals safely out of reach of children. You can also talk about the importance of understanding plant toxicity and how you would provide those clear safety guidelines to customers.
So it's about showing them you take safety seriously.
Absolutely.
And that you're committed to creating a safe space
Mm.
for both yourself and your customer.
That's right.
All right. We've covered 7 of RoleCatcher's 10 interview questions. Before we tackle those last 3, I want to take a little detour and explore something that really caught my eye in their career guide.
Oh, yeah. The career paths.
Yeah. So RoleCatcher's guide outlines 3 main stages: entry-level seller, junior seller, and senior seller. And it's so interesting to see how the role changes and the responsibilities, how they kind of evolved as you progress.
Yeah, it's like a plant's journey.
Yeah.
From a tiny seedling all the way to a big flourishing, fruit-bearing tree.
I love that.
You start by soaking up that knowledge, those essential skills.
Yeah.
And then gradually you branch out, you take on those more challenging, more complex tasks as you grow.
Oh, such a good analogy.
Yeah.
So as an entry-level seller, what are some of those key tasks and skills that you would be focusing on?
Well, I think at that stage, it's all about mastering the fundamentals, right?
Mhm.
So providing excellent customer service, having a really good understanding of the shop's inventory, and, learning those plant care basics.
Yeah.
So you might be, helping customers choose plants, answering their questions, helping with displays, or even taking care of some light watering and pruning.
So it sounds like a great opportunity to really build a strong foundation and get to know how everything works.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you're really getting your hands dirty. And then as you gain experience and confidence, you naturally progress. You go to that junior seller level.
Right.
And at that point, you're taking on more responsibility. You're providing that expert advice on plant selection, troubleshooting those customer problems, and maybe even helping with some basic landscape design. You might even start training some of the newer team members.
Yeah.
Sharing your knowledge and helping them grow.
So you start to kind of develop those leadership skills at that level.
Exactly.
Okay. What about the senior seller role? What does that look like?
Well, at that point, you're basically a seasoned expert. You're managing those day-to-day operations.
Yeah.
You're supervising junior staff. And making decisions that really impact the business. You might be involved in inventory management, coming up with marketing strategies, or even mentoring new employees.
Wow, that's quite a progression from mastering the basics to leading a team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's pretty cool that
I
this role offers so much room for growth and development.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that. And one thing that stays important throughout all those stages is never stop learning.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher really emphasizes that. Attending those workshops, pursuing certifications, and staying up to date on industry publications. It really matters.
That makes a lot of sense because the world of horticulture is constantly evolving.
Right.
There are always new plant varieties, gardening techniques, technologies.
Absolutely. Can you imagine being asked about the latest advancements in, I don't know, hydroponics or the benefits of using beneficial insects to control those pesky pests? Being able to talk about that stuff intelligently would really impress an interviewer.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of impressing interviewers, let's get back to those remaining interview questions from RoleCatcher.
Okay, sounds good.
We left off with, how do you prioritize safety in your work with plants and gardening equipment? What's next? All right, so the next question is, describe a time when you had to go above and beyond for a customer. And this is, one of those classic behavioral questions. Interviewers love these
Yeah.
because they give a glimpse into your actual work style and how you solve problems in real life.
So it's not enough to just say, like, I work hard or, I always go
Yeah.
the extra mile.
No, 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 no. You need a story. You need a specific example.
Okay.
So think back to a time when you truly exceeded expectations. Did you help a frantic bride, find those perfect last-minute flowers?
Yeah.
Or did you spend extra time with a new gardener and, teach them the basics of soil testing and composting? Share a story.
Right.
A story that shows your dedication to customer satisfaction, and let the interviewer really see it.
It's about painting that picture.
Yes.
With your words. Yeah. Okay, so RoleCatcher's next question is, how do you handle working under pressure, especially during those peak seasons or holidays? Now, I imagine things can get, pretty crazy in a flower shop when Valentine's Day or Mother's Day comes around.
Oh, absolutely. Those peak seasons are a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Long lines, demanding customers, tight deadlines. It can be a lot. This question is designed to see if you can, if you can stay calm, stay organized and efficient, even when things are, a little bit nuts.
So what's the key to answering this one well?
Well, focus on those time management skills, right? Highlight your ability to prioritize those tasks and stay focused even when it's a little chaotic. Do you have a special system for organizing orders?
Yeah.
Or a method for streamlining checkout? Or maybe you have a mantra that helps you stay centered. During those high stress moments, share those strategies, those tips. Show them you can handle the heat and keep those flowers blooming even when the pressure's on.
It's like you're unstoppable.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, let's tackle RoleCatcher's final interview question. What are your salary expectations for this role? Now, this one can feel a little tricky to navigate.
Oh, absolutely. It's a delicate balance. You got to know your worth, but also not, price yourself out of the running.
So how do you approach this question in a strategic way?
Well, first and foremost, do your research.
Okay.
You got to understand that typical salary range for flower and garden specialized sellers.
Right?
In your area, websites like Glassdoor and Indeed,
Yeah.
those can be really helpful resources for that. And then think about your own experience, your
Yeah.
skills and qualifications.
So if you have like special knowledge, like expertise in organic gardening or, floral design,
Yeah.
you might be able to ask for a higher salary.
Absolutely. You got to be prepared to talk about the value that you're bringing to the table and present your salary expectations in a confident and informed manner. You can say something like, based on my research and my experience in mention relevant skills, I'm seeking a salary in the range of mention your desired range.
That's a really good approach.
Okay.
We've covered all 10 of RoleCatcher's interview questions and explored some insightful, career paths. Before we wrap up, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier, the power of RoleCatcher's AI.
Oh, yes.
You mentioned it can be a total game changer when it comes to tailoring those interview responses.
Absolutely. I mean, RoleCatcher's AI it's like having a secret weapon. It's designed to analyze job descriptions and then give you feedback on your answers. And that's going to make sure that those answers are hitting those key points, resonating with what the employer is looking for.
So it's like having a personalized interview coach, but like in your pocket.
Exactly.
Can you give us like a specific example of how this AI magic works?
Yeah. Okay. Let's say you're going for a job that really emphasizes, sustainability and community engagement.
Okay.
Well, RoleCatcher's AI is going to pick up on those keywords in the job description and then suggest you incorporate them into your answers.
Hmm.
So, for example, when you're answering that question, about what inspired you to pursue this career, you could talk about your love for organic gardening or how you were involved in a local community garden, you
Ooh.
see.
Yeah.
So it helps you really connect those dots between what you bring to the table and what the employer needs.
So it's almost like the AI is helping you tailor your story.
Yes. And it goes beyond that. I mean, RoleCatcher's AI can even look at how you're delivering your answers. It can give you feedback on your tone, your pacing, even your body language if you're using that video practice feature.
Wow. So it's like a virtual mock interview, but with an expert who's pinpointing, areas for improvement,
Yeah.
helping you polish those presentation skills.
Mhm.
Now, before we go to our last section, I want to touch on one more thing from RoleCatcher's Career Guide.
Oh, yeah.
They talked a lot about the rising demand for sustainable and organic gardening. It seems like more and more people are looking for those eco-friendly options.
It's a huge trend. People are, I think, becoming more aware of, how their choices in the garden can impact the environment.
Yeah.
And they're looking for plants that are grown without, harmful pesticides, fertilizers that really nourish the soil, and tools that are made from sustainable material.
Yeah. So if you were passionate about, sustainable gardening, how can you bring that into your interview?
Well, it's about connecting your values to the employer's mission, right?
Right.
So, for instance, if you're asked about your experience with, I don't know, plant care, you could mention your success with using compost tea as a fertilizer, or talk about companion planting techniques to, naturally deter pests.
So it's showcasing that knowledge,
Yes,
which shows you're committed to those eco-conscious practices,
exactly.
which is in line with, the demand.
Exactly. It's showing them that you're not just, knowledgeable about plants, but you understand the bigger picture.
Right.
How gardening can really be a part of environmental stewardship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a question to kind of, ponder, think about.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you're sitting across from that hiring manager and you're ready to just wow them with your love of plants, your eagerness to learn.
Oh, I love it.
What unique skills or experiences could you bring to the table?
That's a great question.
What would make you stand out?
It's all about showing them who you are, what makes you unique,
Right.
What makes you different from those other candidates.
Maybe you have a background in photography
Mm-hmm.
and you could create stunning visuals for their social media. Or maybe you're amazing at building those DIY trellises, those raised garden beds. And you could offer workshops.
Yes. Don't underestimate those what may seem like unrelated skills or those hobbies.
Right.
Those can actually make you a stronger candidate. They show your creativity, your problem-solving skills, and that willingness to go above and beyond.
So it's finding those connections, those kind of maybe unexpected connections, and then presenting them in a way that highlights your value.
Exactly. And remember, you're not just selling plants, you're selling an experience, a connection to nature, a passion for growth and beauty. Let those things shine through in your answers, and you'll be well on your way to blooming into a successful flower and garden specialized seller.
And, don't forget, RoleCatcher has so many great resources to help you get there, from career guides to, those AI-powered practice interviews. So explore their website, check out those resources, and let your passion for plants turn into a fulfilling career.
I love it. I mean, we covered a lot of ground today. Interview tips, industry trends, career advancement, and the power of AI. But you know what?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the most important thing is that genuine love for plants.
That's where it all starts.
Yeah.
So nurture that passion, keep learning, keep growing, and you'll watch your career flourish.
Absolutely. And as
Yeah.
you start this, this incredible journey, don't stop asking questions.
Yeah.
Keep searching for knowledge and explore those endless possibilities within this amazing world of horticulture. It's a beautiful world.
It is. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into flower and garden specialized sellers. We hope you found it helpful,
Yeah.
inspiring.
Good luck with your interviews.
Yeah. And remember, let your passion bloom.